Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and I'm looking for the peacock.
Where is the peacock?
I don't know.
Hi, I'm Peggy
I
Burton.
don't know.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm a little choked
Well,
up here.
I'm a little hoarse too. You know, the weather's been
The
kind of
weather's
crazy.
coming and going all the time, and
I still have my snow people out because it's supposed to be in the low 20s tonight.
are you serious? I thought
Yeah.
it was going to be nice.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be nice. Not going to rain or anything, but
Gonna be low.
tonight it's going to be in the 20s,
Very
and then
cold.
it's going back up. Then it'll go back down, and that's why everybody gets sick. And
Well, there's never a dull day, though.
not in Telehome,
You
Tennessee.
can get outside and work in the yard one day, the next day you can go skiing.
That's a fact, Peggy.
True.
That's a fact. I heard that Johnny Cash did a really good job. He broke out of Folsom Prison right here in Telehome, Tennessee
Absolutely.
this
I
weekend.
thought he was wonderful. I loved it, the clarity of his voice. You could understand everything he said, and he gave a little history as he sang the songs, and his band was excellent. It was a good show.
Some of those songs, that might be the first time people have ever understood all the words, because sometimes Johnny didn't really sing all that well.
I've been a little bit plastered at times.
Well, might have been.
No, he
not
was
there at the end.
Our J.C. Cole, wonderful young gentleman, and he was right on point. I mean, all the songs sounded, the music sounded like the Cash Band.
Right,
and,
right.
I was real impressed.
Well, you know, you can always tell a Johnny song because it's got that boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
Well,
boom.
one of the things
Beat.
that I noticed is almost everything is the same beat.
Yeah,
Once in a while it'll slow down, but there's the same
It's
rhythmic
that same
feel.
rhythm,
Yeah.
every song he ever sang.
But you know, he made a living on 3 chords.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Cash learned early in life 1, 4, and 5, and made $1 million on it. $1 billion probably.
Bunches.
Yeah.
You know, I was and still am. I wish I knew where Jerry House was, but Jerry House was a wonderful radio disc jockey in Nashville on WSIX, and he had the House Foundation and Drive Time Radio. I mean, he was the king of that whole deal
Yeah.
up there. He was the king of radio, like Ralph Emery was the king of TV in the countryside of stuff. And of course, Ralph passed away this past week.
I know, and I heard that people came from New York just
Oh,
to
heavens.
see his show, to see how he put it together. And he was just doing it like we do this right now, wasn't he?
Right.
I think we might have talked about that before. But
Yeah, but Jerry House was he loved theater, and he and his family, his wife Allison, and his daughter's name, it'll come to me. It doesn't make a difference. They would go to New York to see plays.
Yeah.
And they had a standard rule that if you didn't like it at halftime, one of the 3 of them wasn't into it. They'd all get up and leave. You know, the other 2 didn't get punished because, or one didn't get punished. You know,
Right.
but he said he was in New York, and the last time he saw Johnny Cash, of course he knew Johnny, and they had done a lot of work together. He said he was walking down Fifth Avenue, and he looked up, and on the other side of the street there was this man all dressed in white hair, flowing, white shirt, white pants, white shoes, white belt.
Who was that?
It was Johnny Cash. And he said he came, because Johnny liked New York. That's when his daughter was up there. One of his daughters was up there.
Because he went up there
and Johnny, he said Johnny walked across the street, and he said he was just almost floating. And I said to myself, there's the man in black.
There's the man in black.
In white. And as he passed me, they spoke to each other. And he said he just almost like it just floated past him to the other street. He said it's the last time I ever saw him.
I saw Johnny Cash, and after he had married June Carter, they came with a USO tour of the Philippines when we were stationed there. And I think they sang Jackson. And a lady, and I can't think of her name, but she came out of the audience and sang with J.C. Jackson.
Yeah. Well, it's those kind of talented people are. That movie about him is very touching, and to understand really his life and how what turns people like that into who they are and makes them act the way they act. And a lot of it has to do with your youth and how you, he had a twin brother that he lost.
I didn't know that he
Yeah,
had
he had a
twin.
brother that he lost. I don't know whether he's a twin or just a brother, Jack.
That was
And
hard,
I think
guess.
the dad held Johnny responsible for
Anyway,
that.
it was a good event.
Yeah.
We've got. I want to talk about this a little bit. We've got a dance class opening at South Jackson Civic Center on February 9th. So that's on a Wednesday from 6:30 till 7:30 in the annex. And if anybody out there is interested in ballroom dancing, call the Civic Center at 455-5321, or hopefully it's online.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. The last dance class had a lot of people enjoyed that, and I've heard people say, well, I really want to do that.
Well, we've been
Because it's
asked to do it
it's
again.
something everybody can do. It's great exercise.
I was watching it on Facebook, and there was a prom somewhere, and at least 16 couples, young couples that were seniors in high school, had choreographed, and maybe they had help, but they had choreographed this beautiful ballroom dance, and it was just fabulous. I thought, what a nice thing to see, because dancing isn't taught in the schools anymore.
No.
And we used to, Beverly Long went into the high school and the middle schools and taught some dance classes years ago, and I've always thought, why isn't that as sports? It's a good athletic thing to do.
Well, and used to it, probably not in small towns. I remember in Oak Ridge when I was going up there when my grandmother and grandfather was still alive. There was a dance studio up there. What was it, Arthur Murray? Or
Yes.
there was a couple of them.
Arthur Murray was
and there
a big
was
one.
Another
Right.
one that in the cities and stuff. I mean, they were full-time businesses
And made big money.
teaching,
Yeah.
making good
Well,
money
these
teaching
classes at the
dance.
Civic Center are only $10 a piece. So-
Yeah.
And I think this group will run for 4 weeks.
But there was a time, Peggy, about maybe 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, that a lot of the young people all of a sudden, and that's when the Legion was still operating, and we did a lot of dancing was done out there. People danced every weekend.
Right.
And a lot of the young people came, and all of a sudden they had these longer coats and the chains,
And
and
they
they
were
were doing
dressed up.
swing.
Yeah.
Not Western swing. They were doing
they were
that
doing
old time New
swing.
York City swing dancing.
I love it.
And there was a couple of clubs in Nashville that kids would go to.
If I'm not
and dance.
mistaken, Telehome used to have cotillion clubs
Yeah.
that taught manners and dancing and
yes,
stuff like
yes.
that. I'd kind of like to see that come back.
Well, I don't know that anybody would.
Be interested?
I don't know that anybody would do it. I don't know if any of these kids today would do it, and their parents.
I think there's some that
Their
would.
parents might have
Yeah.
taken it. I know our son, Jacob, Miss Shahan taught it, and when he was in school, he went to cotillion.
Yeah. Even when I
Young
was in high
boys and young
school,
girls.
I envied the Telehoma school kids because there was the cotillion thing going on over here, and we didn't have anything like that at Coffee County High School.
Right.
We're a little bit country over there.
Yeah, and then you talk about Bob Couch, my father-in-law. Fatty Book and all his buddies. They would even back in the, you're talking about back in the 40s. There were cotillion clubs everywhere.
Right.
And on Saturday night, I mean, there was a cotillion dance in just about every town.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad that all that's.
And they'd
gone
all
out,
go
yeah.
dancing. And dancing's a great thing. It's a great exercise.
It's a great
lot of fun.
exercise that's fun rather than, lifting weights all night long or whatever.
Well, this is a good thing to be talking about, because this time of year, I'm glad the sun's shining today,
Oh, yeah.
but this time of year, it's kind of brown.
It's a little brown, you're right.
It's brown, and when I went to UT, we used to call it Big Brown instead of Big Orange
Oh, Big
in the
Brown.
wintertime, because then when it would snow, and that was back when there was still, they burned a lot of coal up there.
Yeah.
And the snow would be brown, the leaves are brown, the trees, the grass is brown, and it's kind of
Everything's
easy
brown.
to get a little bit sad.
A lot of people get
After
depressed.
Christmas, after New Year's,
this time of year.
there's depression.
And a lot of people somehow suffer through January and then start to wake up a little bit and
Right, and I was somewhere eating the other day, and the guy, I asked where we were. It was at Sonoma Bread in the Avenues, Zubair, and asked him how his business was going. And there's a lovely young lady in there who makes New York pretzels.
Yeah.
She's third generation pretzel maker. Her dad made pretzels in New York City.
wow.
And they were talking about he said, I think if we were to have everything for free, we probably wouldn't give 2 meals a day away. Because there's just nobody out. Nobody's
People
doing.
aren't out and not.
They're hunkered down.
And it's hard to find a place to sit down and eat.
You know, they're hunkered down, and the money they spent for Christmas, and now they're looking at income tax, and
I've got
so this is
income
one of
tax
those.
all over my
months.
house. Let's
So
not talk about
here's-
income tax.
Here's something right here. This goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. It's called tears.
Tears.
Tears. I felt a tear fall, run down my face. Each tear has a story in that time and place. Happy, sad, tender, mad, deep from emotions well. Each simple little teardrop has a tale to tell. Tears of joy the day my baby boy arrived. Tears that pleaded, please, dear God, the night he didn't die. Tears that come with laughter. Tears that just won't go away. Tears that well up in my eyes when Rudy gets to play. Tears. We all cry tears. The strong, the weak, the proud, the meek. We all cry tears. Tears of understanding for the Son and Holy Ghost. Tears shed for others, the ones that count the most. Tears of celebration. Tears of regret. Tears unshed for reasons I don't know as yet. Tears when you hurt someone and you love and you don't even know. Tears when you come back and tears when you go. One day when I'm old and gray, I'll look back through the years and realize my story lies down a trail of tears. Tears, we all cry tears. The strong, the weak, the proud, the meek. We all cry tears. Happy, sad, tender, mad, deep from emotions well. Each simple little teardrop has a tale to tell. Tears. We all cry tears.
I like that. It made me think of my dad. I never in my life saw him cry until I packed up my 2 children from his home. I'd stayed there about a year waiting for, to be able to go to the Philippine Islands. And when we left, I saw tears in his eyes.
Yeah. And here's how you fix it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Everything seems upside down. Have they all gone mad? This might be the worst day this world's ever had. There's fighting everywhere. Can't we just get along? As for me, I'm headed home. There's something good going on. Something good going on when I hit the door, the smell of supper cooking, kids in the floor, that big boss man weighing my pound of flesh don't even know I'm gone. He's got his share. I'm going to where there's something good going on. Like Uncle Odie sitting with a baby in his lap. Uncle Bunch fly catching on the front porch while he naps. A double lemon wedge in Teresa's cold iced tea. The glow of dawn in your hair right there next to me. Something good going on when I hit the door. The smell of supper cooking, kids in the floor. That big boss man weighing my pound of flesh, he don't even know I'm gone. He's got his share. I'm going to where there's something good going on. Something good going on, just waiting there for you. At your mama's kitchen table, on a Sunday morning pew. A new melody under a live oak tree. The music's not all gone. The race ain't done. Here comes the sun. there's something good going on. So,
That's nice.
y'all remember,
So there's always something good going on.
there's something good going on. There's more good gonna come on right here, just as soon as we take this little bit commercial break, and we're gonna hunt for that peacock.
The Bookshelf in Telehome is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Telehome is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
Macarthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words.
Welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at Macarthur Manor, we'll treat you like family.
Caring.
Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest.
Engaging.
With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at Macarthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Okay, folks, we're back, and I'm glad to have, to me, one of the best hires we've had around this place in a long time, Mary Samaniego, and she's here with us today, and she's involved with all things development, construction-oriented, development-oriented for our city. And you know, we have gone through a city planning time when we brought a consulting firm in here.
Yep.
And we did spend a lot of time on that. I haven't heard a lot about that since then.
Okay.
Hopefully you can give us a little report on a couple things, because it is January and it's a brand new year, 2022, and we need to know what kind of great things we're going to accomplish here in Telehome.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I'm Mary Samaniego. I'm the city planner for Telehome. As you mentioned, John, yes, we started we hired some consultants out of Nashville to update our comprehensive plan. And this fall, we started that process. The process takes about 9 months, like having a baby.
Yeah.
And this fall, we conducted all the public input. We heard from the public and stakeholders kind of what the needs and desires of the community are. Now the consultants are back at their offices working on actually writing the plan. So that's why it's been quiet
for a little bit
in town here, but they're feverishly working on drafts of the plan. We anticipate that they're going to have a first draft in this next month that we will put on the Think Telehome 2040 website and run through our steering committee for a first round of reviews and edits. So ultimately, we are hoping that the plan will be taken for adoption by the Telehome Planning Commission and the Board of Mayor and Aldermen this spring.
This spring?
Say April.
Okay, so
barring any...
That's all well and good.
Yeah.
When that happens, and this spring, in your estimation, and you probably can't answer this question, but you have more insight than I do, or our audience does. After that point, when do we pull the trigger on something?
Immediately. We go. The comprehensive plan is going to have a implementation schedule of what projects the community wants, who the funding source is, and the deadline of getting it done. There'll be several items that are in year one that we can start working on. So
there are funding sources that are
identified
by our consultants.
Correct.
Some of them by our consultants, and some of them, I'm sure, stakeholders are going to take care of some of the funding on certain things.
Yeah, there'll be like, this can come from the general fund. This can be a grant from the National Park Service. This can be a grant from TDOT. This is, so eligible options of funding sources.
You know, it's funny how words can be. It amazes me, the word, and a lot of people might not understand what stakeholder means.
Okay.
But if you go to the market right now and you buy a steak compared to what it was several years ago, you will figure out that you got to have money to buy a steak.
Yeah.
It's not the same kind of steak, but it's the same people.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't
have to be necessarily tied to money. I mean, stakeholders are like a representative from TUA, a representative from the local.
Well, that's money. That's city money. That's our money.
Right, but you don't have to be an affluent resident to be a stakeholder.
No,
I want to make sure that's clear.
a property owner.
Yes.
But some property owners are stakeholders because they're the ones that own a lot of property.
Right.
And,
and the housing authority is a stakeholder.
Yeah.
Right.
But we do the citizens, and I'm sure this has been clarified, the citizens had a great opportunity in the development of this to be heard.
Yes.
Is there a citizen or two representative in that steering committee?
Yes. Yes, there are just regular citizens that are represented. We conducted something like 6 public meetings in person at large, and we had that survey online of which 1,200 people participated in it, which is huge considering there's only 20,000 people that live in the city, and that includes like little kids.
Right.
Right, so that's a huge percentage of people that are really engaged in the process.
Yeah.
So I feel professionally and personally comfortable that we really have heard from the community.
Very good.
That it's not, I have worked on some plans where you can't get people to participate and the plan ends up being written by like 6 people in a room.
Right.
Because they can't get other people kind of involved. But Telehome really responded to the call for action.
Yeah.
And we've heard from a lot of people, so.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
So we're looking then, I guess, to get back to my original question, we're looking at some things getting accomplished on that plan, or at least getting started this year.
Yeah, I mean, the public needs to understand that development projects, by standard, take a long time.
Sure they do.
You've got to get the appropriate permits. You have to do environmental studies. You've got to do the engineering drawings. Everybody's got to, the construction process, things take years and years and years to get completed. But as long as you keep taking the next step.
Right. right. And that's pretty much, you will be part of the team that see that those steps are taken?
Yes. Yes.
Then I feel safe about it then.
Well, good. Yeah, I'll be
And
part of the
comfortable.
team that sees that part's taken, and I've been kind of brainstorming on how to keep the public involved in the implementation, and maybe just keeping the Think 2040 website open.
Right.
This whole time, and like have the implementation matrix on the website with check marks and kind of status updates, so the public can kind of follow along over the next 20 years, which is the lifetime of this plan, to see how we're progressing.
Do you, and I hate to put you on the spot, but if you were to guess with an insider's knowledge, what would be one or two of the first things that would be implemented? Would it be roads? Would it be sidewalks? Would it be zoning? Would it be?
Zoning. So one of the first things that I anticipate coming out of the implementation schedule of the comprehensive plan is a revision to our subdivision regulations and our zoning regulations to reflect the goals and objectives of the plan.
Of the plan.
So then all the zoning code and the subdivision regulations and the plan are all working together. The regulations implement the plan. So that once that is done, that will then put the onus on private developers on implementing the plan lot by lot.
Right.
And then so as each new development comes in, they have to put in the new street trees that are required, the new sidewalks that are required. So each little piece around the city starts implementing the ideas of the plan. Then the remaining portions of the plan are kind of up to regulatory bodies like TDOT, the city, as far as connecting sidewalk sections, upgrading or improving our drainage systems, things like that will come in the second phase.
Right.
But the main thing is to get the codes updated, so as properties develop, they're implementing the new plan.
And
so it's really a partnership between each individual lot owner and the city.
Yeah, and that really, in my mind, it will take work, but it doesn't take a lot of funding.
No.
Because it'll be done by in-house.
Exactly.
For those changes to be made and approved, and so that's not a funding source. That's a time. Well, it is, because it's time spent. Time spent is time paid for.
Salary,
but it's not going out and hunting a large amount of money to go. That's what it's going to take to.
Right. It's not
do this
$2 million
lot.
to do a new road construction.
Right. Well, that's exciting. It's really exciting.
It is exciting.
And so we're talking about in the spring, then we'll have something come back to us. In the meantime, what else is happening around town?
This time of year typically it's kind of slow.
Yeah.
Just because we're in the winter weather, which this has been quite a winter. This is my first full winter here in Telehome from moving from Tampa.
Different.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. Can be.
Yeah.
We usually have, but the thing about it is, just like we were saying, the other day it's 12, and yesterday it was almost 60.
Yeah.
So it's just Tennessee. I mean, you don't like it, hang around 2-3 days. It'll change. It'll change. It'll change to something you do like.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, as far as what's been happening lately, I did present to, I've got my notes here. I did present to the Planning Commission at their December meeting kind of the permit numbers from 2021. And then at that meeting, the Planning Commission requested that I go back through 2018 for the same numbers to kind of compare how we're doing. So as far as rezonings, we had our rezoning numbers in 2021 almost doubled. So we're seeing a lot of people that are wanting to change the zoning. So that kind of says to me, in layman's terms, that the market or what people are wanting to do isn't matching the existing zoning and the existing plan.
Right.
So it's a good idea that we're updating the plan and we're going to be updating the codes.
Right.
We pretty much all other numbers kind of have stayed consistent over time. The number of home occupations has more than doubled this year. And I think that, my professional opinion, that kind of reflects coming out of COVID, people maybe working from home, or they lost their jobs and now they kind of like the idea of working from home, and they're starting their own home-based home occupation businesses.
Yeah. I think so, definitely.
Yeah, so that was interesting. And then the number of new lots and subdivisions really has tripled. Typically, Telehome sees between, I'd say, 75 and 100 new lots created a year. In 2021, we saw 314. So we saw a huge jump in the number of residential single-family housing lots created. I don't know if that's a function of people moving here. I can say that most of those lots are in 3 large subdivisions that were recently approved. One called Stillwater on Wilson Avenue going towards Lynchburg at the very edge of the Telehome city limits. There's another subdivision that's going to be called The Lakes on Ledford Mill, which is on Ledford Mill Road. That's a 100-lot subdivision. And then we've got the Pines on Avoca and Country Club, which I think is 30-some lots with just this first section, and they anticipate doing another section in the coming years. So we've had a number of larger subdivisions come in, which is exciting.
So out there, have you heard anything on Avoca out there, speaking of the Pines, to get to the Pines, where they have cut the road, the circle in for, I think, condos?
No, those are single-family houses on Avoca. That's, I believe, Pinnacle Point. So I think that's more single-family houses.
No, I thought maybe there was something else going in that.
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because all that sort of exploded out there.
Yeah,
and,
it
of course,
really
then
has.
they're going down Riley Creek. They've got that whole big, is that where you're talking about? The one on Riley Creek past?
Which one? One of the new subdivisions?
Yeah, where they've got 3 houses, there are 3 or 4 houses, and it cuts all the way through back over to.
Yeah, that's another I can't
back
remember
over
the name
to
of that.
Avoca.
Yeah, that's another.
Big subdivision right there.
I can't remember the name of that one now. I'm off guard, John, but.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's all just single-family residential. So that's just all one house per lot.
Yeah.
None of that I'm aware of, or any townhomes up there.
Okay.
I do know that that's something that we kept hearing over and over again from the public, wanting townhome developments and apartment developments for like medium to higher income residents.
Well, a lot of these young people who are used to living in the city, they don't want to mow grass.
No.
You know, and we need, and I've always thought we need a smaller, nicer, smaller place for. There's a lot of single people. And they don't want a great big old house to keep up. They want a nice living room and a nice bedroom and a bath and kitchen, and that's it.
Well, and a lot of older folks I know don't want to mow anymore either.
No. I be one.
I know. Well, see, I was trying to be delicate about it. Older folks.
I be one. Mary, thank you so much for being with us today. It's always a pleasure, and like I said, you're one of the smartest tools in the shed.
Oh, thank you.
Keep it sharp, dear.
I'll try.
Keep it sharp. Appreciate you, dear.
Thank you.
Hey, have a good 2022.
I already am.
Good girl. We'll be right back after these messages.
Clayton's has been Telehoma's shoe store for over 120 years, and Florence Hall continues that tradition today. We're the only shoe store in town that starts with measuring your foot to make sure you get the perfect fit in a quality shoe. That includes narrow through wide widths for men, women, and children. Clayton Shoes, the family shoe store you'll love.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Hello everyone, 101, John Rickman here.
And this is Pat Welch, and John, we're here for segment 101, the encore of the Conversations with John and Pat.
Back in the country, Pat, you know, if a farmer, you buy eggs from a farmer, lots of times they'll throw an extra one in case one is not good, not is rotten or whatever.
Or a baker's dozen, the 13th.
Baker's dozen.
That's right.
So this is a baker's dozen here.
This is a true encore, called and by heavy demand from our fans and from management.
This is a little slower song that I've been doing, is one that Jimmy Rogers did, but I like it. It sort of has a Stephen Foster
John, I noticed that you made sure you knew who the management had to chip in, who the writer of the previous segment song was.
He corrected me.
Yes.
No, he didn't. He gave me information I didn't have.
He aided us.
I'm getting tired of these big city lights, tired of the glamour, tired of the nights. In all of my dreams, I'm wandering once more back to my home and that old river shore. I'm so sad and weary, far away from home, missing Mississippi and you, dear. Days are sad and dreary everywhere I roam, missing Mississippi and you. Wandering this wide world over, always alone and so blue, longing for my homeland, muddy water shore, missing Mississippi and you.
Oh, John, that's some moving. Even management chipped in a little bit on that.
He knew that. That was a Jimmy Rogers, but you know, Merle Haggard did that, and a lot of other people did too. It was a good song.
I can't listen to anything melancholy like that with the river description in it without thinking about the old story about General Stonewall Jackson that we've mentioned before. He was mortally wounded at Chancellorsville, lost his arm, but while he's rehabbing, he got pneumonia. And he was lucid up to the point of his death, and he was a strong Christian, really devout Christian. And right before he died, he said that he was getting ready to cross over the river and rest in the trees on the other shore. I thought what a great analogy to death that was.
Good picture. Yeah. We're going to talk about a fella that grew up in Warren County near Viola. And show the first picture, if you will. That's him in the center with a vest on. He was principal at Forest School in Chapel Hill. His name was Jess Nunley. And he is the father of Dr. Joe Nunley, who is at MTSU and professor there. And also he is the father of Shot Nunley, who is at McMinnville. And I interviewed Shot not too long ago about his dad. His dad was there at Chapel Hill for many, many years, and
John, let me make sure I'm right. That's at
Chapel Hill there.
Mm-hmm. The Nunley that Warren County, it's his father while he was at Chapel Hill, because that lady's
right.
To his
This
right's got a forest.
Yeah, this
shirt,
Mr. Nunley
sweater on.
Was I'll tell you a little bit about his upbringing. He was born 1892 in the mountains of Warren County near Viola. During that time, approximately 70% of Warren County's population lived in the woodlands, mountains, hills, and hollows. Jess was one of 17 children and lived totally impoverished. He lived in a one-room, dirt-floored shack at the head of Fult's Cove. His dad, Norman, married 3 times, and Jess's mom, Letty, was the father's second wife.
And his first 2 dying from childbirth or sickness?
1 and 3. 1, 2, and this is about the second one, his mom. In 1902, a flu epidemic in that region took the life of Mom Letty, and an infant brother took both of them. At just 10 years of age, using crude tools and whatever lumber available, Jess built a coffin large enough to hold both bodies. He borrowed a team of mules.
Wait a minute. Jess built, when he was 10 years old, built his mother's and his siblings' coffin?
Where his dad was at this time is unknown. There's no story about that. But he saw the need to go ahead and build a coffin. He borrowed a team of mules.
John, sometime I hope today gets a little bit more cheery, but keep going.
It will. and he put both bodies, mother and brother, in that coffin and took them to Mount Zion Cemetery. And education seemed to be Jess's light in his world. He attended the Todd School there at Viola, and he was a smart kid. And later on, he would, Mr. Todd, the headmaster, would ask the people in Warren County, the education folks, you need to hire this guy as a teacher. He shows a lot of promise. So he did this. Jess was a teacher in Warren County in some of the little small schools. But Jess, in 1916, yearned for some freedom. Let's go ahead and show the next picture, if you will. Now, this is Mr. Nunley right there at the top right. That's him. And, that's a good thing for a principal to do. Get a picture with the basketball team.
Successful one.
Yeah, that's my mother, third from the right there. That's Kat Rickman. She's 102 now.
Wow.
That's my mother. And the next picture.
John, you've gone all. Shouldn't this have been segment 100? You've held the best for the encore.
We wanted to keep it Telehoma, but this is a Telehome connect. Mr. Nunley was principal there at Chapel Hill. That second to the right is a Telehoma connection. That's Mr. Robert E. Lee, and he was on the faculty over at Chapel Hill. Mr. Robert E. Lee became superintendent in Lewisburg, and then later on superintendent
in
here
Telehoma.
in Telehoma. Yeah. And let's go to the next picture. Who is this man? Let me tell you about this gentleman. Mr. Jess Nunley, finally, he taught a few years, and he said he got tired of teaching, wanted to see some adventure in life. So he got on his motorcycle, Indian motorbikes, with 2 friends, and they headed out west. And they wound up in Columbus, Mexico. And he and his buddy found jobs building corduroy roads. And just so happened, the notorious...
Which is taking logs.
Side by side, making streets or roads with logs.
Now that would be some hard work right there.
And they were working hard. Just so happened, the notorious Mexican revolutionary Francisco Pancho Villa attacked the small town of Columbus where they were working. And gunfire broke out on the streets, killing 17 citizens. In a short period of time, U.S. General John Blackjack Pershing's troops sent by President Woodrow Wilson came along pursuing Villa's band. The 3 Tennessee lads were unharmed, but Jess immediately decided he'd seen enough excitement and teaching really wasn't so bad after all.
Being raised in a shack, dirt floors with 17 children was better than being attacked by Pancho Villa.
That's right. The friends made it back to the mid-state on 2 of the Indian bikes using parts off one which had broken down and left on the roadside. Now, one of those guys that went with him was Wendell Oakley, and I guess Wendell Oakley was the dad of a Wendell Oakley I knew, probably.
Of the druggist.
Yeah.
And his son Kim would have gone to school with me.
Yeah. I know they're shot. When I interviewed him, he knew all of them. But when he got back, Middle Tennessee State Teachers College at Murfreesboro become a 4-year institution. So he decided to attend there. And he taught at Mulberry, and he taught in maybe a few other positions, but he wound up getting this principal's job over at Chapel Hill. And he recalled there were 2 troublemakers in the school that teachers had warned him against, and they heckled him during an assembly, and he took
So that was assembly, from what I understand, on opening day.
Yeah, on opening day.
So he'd been down there on the auditorium stage, laying the law down, and somebody's heckling. That would have.
He took them both by the ear, both ears, and took them out the front steps. Said, "Don't come back till you act right." And all the students, from that time on, they respected him because he's going to do what he was going to keep order. Now, they stayed in Chapel Hill over there for about 16 years, and Joe Nunley, the son, who was a coach at Lynchburg, and I think we made mention that Joe Nunley was a good coach. He was also, Joe Nunley, the son, was also assistant coach under Creed McClure at McMinnville.
Either City or Central.
City or Central, one or the other.
Mr. McClure went from there to Telehome.
Yeah, right,
Correct.
And Joe went probably to Lynchburg, and Joe had rheumatic fever, and I think he decided to go to school and get a good education. But Jess Nunley, the dad, this is an interesting story. When he decided to come back to Chapel Hill, everything had loaded up. They'd taken everything back to Viola. That's where they were going to live next. And all they had left was a upright piano and a Jersey cow.
That was left in Chapel Hill.
Left in Chapel Hill. They had a little, farming area. So they loaded that upright piano and put the cow on a halter and put it beside the upright piano in the truck. He said that cow was real gentle and rode all the way to Viola. Don't you know that was a sight going through Shelbyville and Telehome?
With a piano and a cow.
Show the next picture there, Philip. Now, Joe Nunley, the son of Mr. Jess, would have these occasions. He called them a coon hunter.
Now, John, let me ask you a question, too.
Sir.
From our Rotary days together, Shot Nunley was a big Rotarian, I believe, in McMinnville.
He was a governor.
Okay.
He was a Rotary governor.
So it's his grandfather that coached your mother.
Yeah. His father.
What did I say? Grandfather.
He actually did coach. The principal just stood in the picture. Down on the other end, we didn't show that. There was the coaches down on the far end.
But he was.
But that's a good thing for a principal to do. Get them pictures. Get those pictures. Let those parents know that you're with the team.
Well, I've shook you up 4 or 5 times here now. Now this is this coaching and teaching reunion that
MTSU professors, people from Chapel Hill, people from Lynchburg, Joe Nunley acquaintances, they all come up there. Some people cook.
What Joe Nunley, though, was kind of revered by the coaches that would go to summer school a lot in Middle Tennessee.
He's well thought of.
What was the deal there? Was there just a natural gravitation to him?
He was a good storyteller.
Yeah.
Joe could tell a good story. Show the next picture there, Philip. This is, you know who that is with a hat on in the back? That is Dr. Don Embry. He was Joe would give people assignments, and Dr. Embry was a part of the cooking crew. Was this when Dr. Embry was at teaching at MTSU before? This was 1976, I believe, or 75 or 76.
All right, he'd been at MTSU at the time.
But that's Dr. Sams that's in front.
He was a revered teacher there too.
Yeah, those names, and brother Womack, Bob Womack was well thought of.
He was a historian.
Bob LaLance, and I was in the musician group. I didn't have to cook. All I had to do was eat and play music. That's my.
John,
do we have another picture?
Our encore. Wait just a second here. I got to butt in here. This is the encore. We're going to take our time today. I taught for 3 years after I got out of school, and deal. I didn't realize I'm not near as
you weren't invited.
I'm not as jealous now as I was because I imagined something a whole lot more luxurious in that shack that y'all gathered at. But it was a real invitation to be coveted.
Shirley Majors was there. First time I went, Shirley Majors was there, and I thought, golly, I'd listened to him tell stories. And I listened to those guys telling stories, and it was on a cloud. It was nice.
Well, I didn't realize that Dr. Embry was
yes,
he was on the cooking crew.
Yeah.
Now, from what I understood, that most of the stories were told by Mr. Nunley and some of those MTSU professors, and somebody that would have been my age, if I'd never been illustrious enough to get the invite, he was there to get the firewood. And
is there one more picture, Philip?
Do the labor.
Yeah, that's my daddy on the left. That's Ike Rickman on the left.
Now, how did he get invited?
Dean, well, he's related to me, Pat. He's related.
Wow.
And then Dean Delk, my cousin's husband, and then there's
an esteemed. They've got schools named after him.
There's Joe
Chapel
Nunley,
Hill
and the
now.
guy on the right was our neighbor across the road in Chapel Hill, Clarence Powell, a farmer. And Joe invited folks there, and we all loved it. And they loved Joe, and Joe loved them. Is that all the pictures, Philip?
I hope Dr. Embry gets to see this. He'll.
Dr. Embry helped me out with those pictures. And Philip, could we go to that one in front of the shack again with all the people?
Yeah, I want to see that, so I won't be so upset about never being invited.
You know, a man needs to know how to dress when he goes to something like that. And Dr. Embry is there in white pants. He's the one in the front, squatted down in front with white pants on. You know a doctor's a doctor, no matter where he goes.
That's right. He's got a certain level of prestige to live up to.
Thank you, Dr. Embry. Appreciate that.
That is a great picture and a great
101
story.
Encore, that's what we have.
101 is over. We hope management allows the marathon, and we may go into future negotiations. But right now, we're over and out, even though we've got a story or two left somewhere. Thank y'all.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
I got a tour and I saw all the things and I was so excited about them. Then she took me to the movie theater and it had red chairs, and this is a done deal and I like it.
We have so many activities here that you just can't keep up with them all. We have exercise, we have coloring, we have crafts.
It's charming, it's attractive, it's very comfortable. It was one of the best decisions of my life.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Telehome Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Telehoma, and have some fun with Telehome Parks and Rec.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Bob. Hi, gang. Well, I can't say thank you, camera ladies, today. I can say thank you, camera gentlemen and camera lady Jackie. Thank you for putting a good, contrasty, wonderful, sharp picture on the screen for all our viewers. And thank you, John, for that introduction, and Candy and Fuji. We've had a wonderful winter so far. Sun's out, and by the way, would you be my Valentine? Since today's I'll be your Valentine. This 14th day of February, 2002. Somebody asked me not long ago, said, we're talking about the different wonderful service clubs and organizations in Telehome, the Lions clubs, the Kiwanis clubs. There used to be a Civitan club here, and an Optimist club, and Junior Chamber of Commerce, and there are other clubs too. One in particular, though, people asked me about, said, well, how long has the Rotary Club been in Telehome? And I said, well, it's the oldest continuous service club in Telehome. It was founded or organized in 1921, and they received their charter in 1922, which makes it 80 years old, and it's been going strong ever since. And the Rotary Club was founded in Chicago in 1905 by an attorney up there by the name of Paul Harris. He was in his office daydreaming, I think, one day, and said, hey, his secretary or another attorney in there or somebody visiting with him, and said, said we ought to get together with some other business and professional people and exchange ideas about our career and our business. And sure enough, they started meeting together, 4 or 5 of them in different offices or different restaurants for lunch. And that's the reason they called it the Rotary Club, because they rotated between offices, and they began to get organized informally, then formally. And they have a classification system in Rotary whereby only one or two from the different careers are classified to be and to have membership. In other words, they wouldn't want 50 or 60 insurance people or 50 or 60 grocerymen or all of the same vocation. They want to diversify so that they could exchange ideas about their career and businesses and meet new people, and that's the way it's been ever since it started. And the Telehome Club, as I mentioned, was chartered in 1922. The first president was a fellow by the name of Mr. Sharp Lanham that founded Lanham Manufacturing Company, which is now Worth Sports. But they met, and about, I think, 15 and 20 of them met in the basement of the King Hotel for a number of years, and they would have programs among themselves or an outside speaker, or they have a big variety of programs. They have program chairmen for each week, and they meet every week in the year except at Christmas time. And they don't meet on the Christmas week or other time occasionally, But anyway, they do meet regularly, and one of the requirements for the membership is that members do have to attend their meetings or make up at a nearby club. Speaking of nearby clubs, the Telehome Rotary Club founded and was the founding father of the Winchester Club and also the Manchester Club. Up until recent years, there was 15, I believe, clubs in this district, District 6, 7, 8, and today there are 63 clubs in this district that is from Lebanon to Lewisburg and on over to as far east as Morristown and Knoxville and Oak Ridge, Chattanooga, and a lot of the clubs meet in the morning. There are two Rotary clubs in Telehome, the Noon Club, which is the oldest one, and it established the Morning Club in 1995 so that those that could not attend noon meetings could attend morning meetings. The Morning Club now meets at the St. Barnabas Church at 6:45 every Tuesday. The Noon Club had to move because from the basement of the King Hotel because they outgrew it, and met in the dining room of First Methodist Church for years and years, and many years. And again, they outgrew that and met at the what used to be the Commodore, which is now the Executive Inn, in their dining room, and outgrew it, and for a short time moved out to Archie's on South Anderson Street. Well, that wasn't big enough, and the way the dining room was arranged, it could not be the fellowship that's necessary for good Rotary meetings. So they were invited to meet at the Telehome Golf and Country Club, and which they still meet there. They have 125 members, and about, I'm guessing now, about 15 or 20 years ago, up until that time, Rotary had always been a male organization. No particular reason for it, except it was just that way. But now, I guess a good 20% of the membership in Rotary is women, and they are leaders in their profession or business too. And the Rotary stretches throughout the world, and many of their programs certainly are just local programs, like they sponsor Boy Scout troops, they sponsor a young man to Boy State every year and have been for many years, and scholarships. They have a program where they send high school or college graduates on leaves of study in foreign countries. The exchange students do that, and we have a program whereby a group of non-Rotarians come from a district on some other continent, come and visit. I know last year there were 5 or 6 Russians that came to this area, Russian business people, and they were delightful and enjoyed their visit here. And we have the exchange groups that go to Europe and South America and every other place. And there's a foundation called the Paul Harris Foundation that a Rotarian or anybody else can be a Paul Harris Fellow. Then they use those funds for education and for the exchange student program. One of the biggest wonderful programs that Rotary has done in many years, and it was started by the late James L. Beaumont, who was the president of Rotary International in 1980 and 81, and it was a Polio Plus program. Polio was running rampant throughout the world, and as a project, Rotary solicited funds among their own membership and gave millions and millions of doses of anti-polio vaccine throughout the world, and it is almost completely eliminated, especially in the underdeveloped countries of the world. And they have had projects in underdeveloped countries such as putting in fresh water and clean water wells and filtration plants. They've sent books and education materials throughout the world. I noticed in the latest Rotary magazine there was a couple of fire trucks that a couple of places in South America had no fire protection in their community at all, and the Rotary Club has sent fire trucks to those places. A great humanitarian place, and one of the successes of Rotary is that the local people get to know each other. The fellowship that's enjoyed within the Rotary Club is real pleasant, where businessmen exchange ideas and help each other. And I sure do thank you for watching today. This is not the end of the story, because there's a whole lot more to come, and we'll see you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good, because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street, and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fixes you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
You know, folks, I'm just lucky for it to be the latter part of January, and it's been cold outside, the sun's out, and it's just sort of like when the sun comes out, the people who you want to be around show up, and Lyle is here today, Lyle Russell from Parks and Rec. I had Mary Samaniego here a little while ago, and you know, these are just two of the people that I care a whole lot about that are involved with our city. because the great job they do. And Lyle is one of my local heroes because of all the things he keeps going on. You know, it's like this. He's like that. Right. He's like that jester at the court. But usually the jester, he drops one and he looks behind Lyle and keeps them all up in there.
All the ones I drop, I never let anybody
never
see.
Let anybody know.
That's right.
What you got going on, buddy?
Well, we got, the first of the year, so we've come up with our programming calendar for the year.
Oh, good.
So we've got some really cool stuff coming up, and I came to tell you about 2 of them today. We've got coming up this weekend, this Saturday at 10 a.m., we're hosting the very first Telehome Ice Bowl at the disc golf course. So if you
Ice Bowl.
Yes, so it is going to be cold that morning. But this is actually an international event. They do this worldwide at disc golf courses, and it's a charity event to raise money for the hungry. So and it's not just money, but they also do food donations and things like that. So this is a really cool event, and it's the first time we're ever doing it in Telehome. So our parks director, Dave Anderson, is going to be...
The Ice Bowl is a cool event?
It is a cool event, pun intended. So, but that is going to be this Saturday, and the registration is on site, so you can just show up at the disc golf course that morning, bring your discs, dress warm, and get ready to play. It's going to be a fun event.
Now, you a player?
I have tried. I'm not very good at it.
How do you think that the temperature, like in most sports that involve a ball or something you hit, the temperature has a factor on how far a putt will go or a pass will go, or does it affect the disc, you think?
Oh, I think so, because if you look at like in Major League Baseball, the Colorado Rockies Stadium out west, that's got the home runs there are basically it's a crank out of home runs, low or high altitude, low humidity, that kind of stuff. When the weather gets cold, obviously humidity drops, the air is a little bit sharper, but it doesn't hinder as much. So if you can get out there and if you got a pretty strong arm, you can wing that disc, you're probably gonna get a few extra yards in that colder weather. So
hit that tee shot.
So you got to be warm. The disc can be cold, but you got to be warmed up to be able to do that. So. But there's an art to it, and the people who are good at it are good at it.
Well, is that course? It doesn't have a lot of low spots in it, so you wouldn't be worried about water.
No, I don't think so.
Water.
I mean, we do have a couple of low spots out there, but we won't have any water issues, and we're not anticipating anything like that.
I bet there'll be somebody out there with hot coffee and.
Yeah, well, we're hoping so. We're definitely going to be out there registering people. You can bring your own coffee if you like, but. But yeah, it'll be a cool event, and again, pun intended. But this is the first time we're participating in this, but we're looking to make this an annual event.
Good.
And you'll also be able to get a preview of the new 9 holes that we are building out there as well. So if you want to come out and play in the tournament and go out and walk the new 9 as they're finishing the layouts, and they've already got the holes put in, and they've got the tee pads laid out, so you'll be able to see how the course is going to lay out.
Really?
So, yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be an 18-holer, huh?
It'll be 27. It's already 18. Now we're adding 9 more. Yeah.
27-hole.
Yeah.
Disc golf.
Yeah, and all H.B. Clark design. He's a big name in the disc golf industry that does course designs, and we've been told.
So how many holes do most disc golf courses have? Do they have 27?
9 or 18.
9 or 18.
There are some that have 27, and
so we'll be a step above.
Yes, we're going to go one up.
Of course we will. Good for you.
Got to get a little bit extra in there, but no, it'll be a neat thing to see. It's going to help us expand the arboretum out there, because we'll be able to go through now and help maintain some of those trees that are inside the course there that we don't already have in the arboretum. So, there's some other benefits to it besides just another 9 holes. So it's going to be a nice
So how long does it take to play 9 holes of disc golf?
It really doesn't take very long, as long as the course isn't too crowded. But if you're out there by yourself or just a couple other people, you can usually get around in about an hour. It doesn't take very long.
So that's 3 hours tour.
If you want to play all 27.
Like Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, just beware.
And the thing about it is, when they get the arboretum all cleaned up and everything, you're able to get lost and just wander around out there looking at beautiful trees.
That's right. We're going to have 90 species out there after this year, 90 individual species. So we're planting a few more this year. It's going to be a nice stop on the park tour.
How about our state championship tree? How's it looking?
It's doing good. I'm working right now with the owner of the property over there to get settled up with, I'm going to hire an arborist to come in and do some creative trimming in there to make sure we get all of the rough stuff out and make sure it's in good health. But yeah, we're very excited about that, and we're working on a, this will be cool, we're going to work on a naming contest. We're going to put it through the school system and let the kids come up with an essay type contest where they get to name the tree.
Oh.
And so we're going to have a panel of judges that'll go through them all and pick out the ones we like, and we'll run it through the finalists and come up with a final name for our willow oak, our champion willow oak here in Telehome. That's right.
That's great, man.
That's gonna be cool.
Just these new things that happen and the ideas and this is just so exciting. And like I say, if you can't find something to do around here, you're not looking very hard.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of things to do, I got another one to tell you about too. So coming up in February. So were you a Cub Scout? Or anybody you know was a Cub Scout?
Shortly.
Okay. So most Cub Scouts or people who were Cub Scouts have heard of the Pinewood Derby.
Yes, oh yeah.
So you make a car.
I did one of those.
So I happened to bring mine. So this was mine, 1984 vintage. This was when I made this one. But this was mine, and I've kept it all these years, and I'm glad that I did, because we have an event coming up on February 19th. We are going to host a citywide Pinewood Derby. So there's going to be a few different divisions. We're helping the Cub Scouts out. So the Cub Scouts are going to get their part first. That's the official part. And when that's over with, we're going to have a youth division that's going to be anybody under 18. And then we're going to have an adult division, 18 and up. So all of you old Cub Scouters out there, if you've still got your Pinewood Derby car like I've got mine, bring it, because you're going to face mine in that competition. It costs $1 to enter. That's all it is. Bring your old Pinewood Derby car or go make a new one and bring $1, and we will get you registered to race. And then the last division is going to be the most fun. We got a town full of engineers, and so what we're trying to...
Of course we do.
Oh, yeah. So the last one is division is called If It Rolls, It Races. So there's a couple restrictions. We can't have fire or anything like that, and no glitter. Please don't put glitter on anything. But
you have to clean it up,
right?
Don't you?
No fire or fireworks and no glitter. But basically, if it'll fit on a Pinewood Derby track, we'll time it. We'll make it work to where if it rolls, it races, and we'll have, it's kind of like an outlaw division. If you can figure out a way to make a car roll down that thing with whatever you want to put on it, we will take it.
So weight doesn't matter.
Well, no, doesn't matter.
Nothing.
No, whatever.
No, it's not like the other Derby where everything's equal other than the driver.
Correct.
This is do anything.
That's
you
right.
can.
This is if it rolls, it races. But but there's a purpose behind this, because we are trying to promote our soapbox derby.
Sure.
And so we'll have some introductory information there for kids who are interested in. You know, it's like Pinewood Derby, but in real life. You get in it and roll down the hill. So and we have now we have both of our Telehome championship cars. Perrin Norris was world champion at Akron, Ohio. And then Haley Bytel was a world champion from Akron, Ohio, and they raced here in Telehome.
Right.
So we now have both of their cars. So we're going to have those on display down there for kids to be able to see, to get in and see if they fit, and just to get the gist of it. And if they want
the fun of it. Yeah.
And if you want to learn more about the Soapbox Derby or Pinewood Derby for that matter, you can get the kits down at Taylor's Archery, shop local. So they have kits down there. You can order them online, but start with them first.
Yes, buy local.
Yes, absolutely.
What does one of those cost?
Oh, I think they're $5. They're
$5.
cheap. Yeah.
Don't go online to order something $5.
Yeah, you can get them down the street here. So, but this is going to be a really fun event. It's the first time we've ever done it, and we would like to make this an annual event too. We've got a couple of the local Cub Scout packs that are bringing tracks for us to use. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it. And my car won these, so if you want a couple of these. Those are my 84 trophies from this guy.
The guy brought props today. Wow, Russell, thanks, buddy.
Always a pleasure.
Keep on doing what you do, man. You make me happy.
Well, thank you.
All right. We'll be back after these messages, folks.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back. And that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Telehome Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Telehome Parks and Rec.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good, nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Telehoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, Peggy, I guess you probably didn't watch any football this past weekend.
You know, I watch it and I don't really see it. I'm sorry. I turn it on.
Well, there were, of course, the Titans got beat. There were 4 of the best football games that you could ever, I don't think anybody could ever have imagined. I mean, they all ended up winning or losing on the last play of the game.
So that's exciting. Anytime
I mean,
you have a
it
game
was
like that,
it was down to 13 seconds.
Wow.
This one guy, Josh Allen with Buffalo Bills, threw a touchdown pass, 13 seconds left, and the other group needed 3 points to tie, and they were over there having a party. 13 seconds. Well, in 13 seconds, the old boy got it down there, and they kicked a field goal and tied, and then went on and won the game.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it was incredible football being played.
Yeah.
So that's, and then we've got this coming weekend, there'll be the playoffs between the American and the Nationals football.
So that should be a great
And then
game.
the next week will be the Super Bowl.
I know.
So football will be over with.
Have you been to the Super Bowl?
Been to the Super Bowl? No.
I have been.
That's
I've been to the
like
Super
I don't know.
Bowl. I have been.
What
to,
is that? Probably $2,000-3,000 a ticket.
I don't know what it is now. I didn't even know
crazy.
what it was then. I just went because Ralph would get tickets. We went to a lot of big football games.
Oh, good.
I mean,
Now, where were you? Where were you at that point?
We were probably home visiting, and then we'd go to
Go somewhere. Yeah. Well,
in Texas, we used to go to the big games there.
Valentine's is coming up.
Valentine's is coming.
Your band's going to be playing at Bell Buckle
Banquet Hall on the, oh my gosh, the 12th, Saturday the 12th.
Saturday the 12th.
Because Valentine happens to be on Monday, and that's kind of a bad day for a dance. Anyway, fabulous
Monday's
food.
a bad day for a dance. Any day's a good day to dance.
If
baby.
you're at all interested, which I just think the food is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. Jay Gregory, they're going to do it.
They really lay it out there.
Yeah, it's a good
the
deal.
best. And
Plus, you get to put up with all of us.
Yeah, and Belleville Banquet Hall is on Facebook as well as on the internet, and you can find all the information there. Call and get reservations. Come and have a good time.
There you go.
It's a,
you can't beat that.
You really can't. It's a great place to go. They're just so gracious and
well, and I mean,
generous.
You feel like you're going out of town and you're really not going far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you're having it's like you're really doing something special
And
with your sweetheart to take her kind of out of town a little bit, down a beautiful country road, and go eat a wonderful meal and listen to the big band play.
I think they have room for 150 people now.
Yeah, it's
they have
outstanding.
expanded. It's really a beautiful place.
So with that said, we need to get out of here, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Just Plain Living. That'd be me and Peggy B. Take care.